A diagram here of the effects of LSD on the brain. So this is time passing normally while sober, which is this straight line right here across the top. When you take LSD, this is the timeline right here. And if this were a time bar right here of the present moment, like in an Acid Pro sound program, where as time passes, it moves like this. This is the time on this edge of the ruler right here, the present moment. So this is the very start of the trip right here, very start of the trip. When the first effects take effect, time is just passing at a linear rate, at, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second. And this is, if you were sober, this is like, not psychedelic at all. This is depending on how many hits you take, it's synonymous with dose size, tolerance, and synergies. I've noticed that LSD synergizes great with kratom. It seems to magnify the effects. Base time. This is the base time as things are like just normally. And then this is like depth. Like if you were to see those little, what are those things called? Those spiders that walk around on top of water. I forget what they're called, but they're water spiders. They don't sink in. And they just float around on the surface. And they probably aren't aware of the depth of the water that goes down beneath them. So anyone sober that's never tripped psychedelics wouldn't really be aware of the things that can happen. They could imagine them, but they wouldn't really actually know had they never done psychedelics. So it's I wrote it out in levels. Level 1, and they're spaced out by about 45 minutes. And, assuming you took 3 hits, obviously the more hits you take, the faster you break through these levels, and the more of them there are. The most I've ever taken is 5, and it's not guaranteed to be these things in this order all the time. Sometimes you can get down to level 4 with just 2 hits. Sometimes you take 3 hits and only get to the second level. So it just depends on how it affects you and how strong the dose is, your tolerance and synergies. But physical euphoria is the first thing you notice. Right when it kicks in, you're in the physical euphoria stage for about 45 minutes. Then you start noticing open eye visuals, laughing mood, spiritual enlightenment in stage 2. These are usually, synonymous with stage 2. Then as time passes into stage 3, you get to closed eye visuals and auditory enhancement. And this is where things start getting interesting, is level 3. Time continues to pass, and obviously these stages, like the physical euphoria is the longest stage, so it's going to be the first thing you notice and the last thing you notice, because then once time gets to here, the very peak of the trip, it starts wearing off, and then it's wearing off. So the first thing you notice, the last thing you notice. The open eye visuals is second. That's the second thing you notice, and then it's also the second to last thing to happen. Closed eye visuals is, lasts for an even shorter amount of time. Time dilation and accidental telepathy is for a shorter period of time, and sometimes you don't even get past this. Sometimes the pyramid just looks like this, and this is the bottom layer. So depending on how far down you go, level 5, out of body projection. Level 6, ego death, which is not knowing who the hell you are. your ego dies, and then 7 hits. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's layers that are deeper than this, but I don't know what they are. These are just things that I've had happen. And then this is time passing, coming out of it, time passing, coming out of trip, and then this is after you've returned back to normal, time passing after trip is over, a changed man. So, yeah, it's just an interesting outlook on the effects of LSD, how I see it. Let's see, is there anything else to say about this? There probably is, but I can't really think of it right now.